Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. Joining us today is Assemblywoman Sabra Newby, representing Assembly District 10. Next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Love and luck are in the air at Carson Valley Inn. $1,000 winners guaranteed every drawing night. Up to $7,500 every Saturday. And $15,000 in grand prize giveaways Friday, March 31st. It's the Love and Luck giveaways at the Carson Valley Inn.
Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's huge, with clothing, power equipment, tools, and of course, hardware. Big R is located on Bering Boulevard in Sparks, next to Smith's and opposite Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. With me today is Assemblywoman Sabra Newby, who represents Assembly District 10. Welcome to the show, and thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So, during the legislature segments, it's always nice to dig into bills that everybody sponsored and really get into the nitty-gritty. And I want to do that a little bit. But you're, I think, the newest member of the legislature, and therefore, of necessity, you probably don't have as many bills that you've sponsored yet. And so, what I really want to ask you to kind of start with is, you weren't elected, you were appointed, correct?
Correct.
So tell us about that whole process and how that came to be.
Well, my state senator, Chris Brooks, resigned, and when that vacancy opened up, then my state assemblywoman, Rochelle Wynn, went for his appointment in the Senate and got that appointment, which then left her seat open.
It's just dominoes of problems.
Dominoes, and I had inquired with her, who was in mind or if there were any folks in mind, and she in turn asked if I would be interested, and that's what got the ball rolling. So I applied and was interviewed by the caucus and was ultimately recommended to the Board of County Commissioners.
So, and it's the Board of County Commissioners of Clark County that does the appointment. And when was it that you were appointed?
January 17th.
All right.
The day that will live in infamy.
So what, 2 weeks before the session started?
Something like that, yes.
All right. So what's that like? Obviously, everybody else is elected, knows in November that they're going to get in. How is the process different for you in terms of how do you propose your own legislation or that sort of thing? How do you kind of get up to speed there?
Well, it is a really different process because, of course, your preparation time is really truncated. And because of the date when I was appointed, I really only had one bill to be able to come to the legislature with. So that part is different. And of course, having not run for office, I didn't get that time with my constituents to be able to go door to door and hear about their concerns. So preparation of finding some place to live in Carson City and getting everything set up, getting an attaché, setting up an office, all of that is very truncated. So it's a lot in a short period of time.
True. Now, you're not absolutely new to Carson City or Northern Nevada. Tell us a little bit about your background before you became an Assemblywoman.
Absolutely. I am no stranger to Carson City or to the legislature. My background is in local government administration. I've worked for the city of Las Vegas. I was an assistant county manager at Clark County, and I was the city manager of Reno before moving back to Clark County to work for UNLV. And in my career, I've been fortunate enough to be able to lobby on behalf of those public governments in Carson City. So
I want you to explain that a little bit. And I've lobbied for a local government entity when I was employed, when I was at the Public Defender's Office years ago.
I remember.
A lot of people think it's weird that the government is kind of lobbying itself. Explain why it is that local government entities or other state agencies like UNLV are lobbying the legislature. How does that make sense, and why is that a formal process?
Well, it's a little bit different than what I think most people consider lobbying. I'll just take Clark County as an example. They do everything from landing planes to delivering babies and making roads and child welfare and everything in between. And so lobbying for them really is providing information on how those processes really work at the local level and informing legislators about things that they may not already be aware of. And with a citizen legislature and without a full-time professional staff, that's often needed.
So, and I want to talk about that too. So you currently work for UNLV, and what do you do for UNLV?
Well, I was the Vice President of Government and Community Engagement for UNLV, but when I took the position and was appointed at the legislature, I moved out of that position. So currently I'm a little bit in limbo with UNLV and don't have a specific title to return to.
Comment, if you can, a little bit. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy, and I'm of mixed feelings about it to some degree, about if you have a job for the government, specifically for an executive branch agency, and then you come work for the legislature, there seems to be some separation of powers issues. I have concerns about that, particularly depending on which, and what level of executive branch agency you're working for. So tell us some of your thoughts about that, some of your experiences with dealing with, local government folks also being legislators, and whether or not that's a good or bad thing.
Well, I happen to think it's a good thing. Nevada has a rich tradition, rich history of having a citizen legislature. And that means that our legislators are not full-time legislators. They have lives and jobs outside of that. And I think because of that, they can bring their perspectives to the legislature, and I think that's incredibly valuable. So to say that somehow, firefighters or teachers or certain nurses can't be part of the legislature, I think robs the whole process of the valuable perspective that they have.
But doesn't the legislature already have access to some of those experiences and information, that sort of thing, with some of the, the firefighters go lobby, there's somebody there, police officers do, teachers do, obviously. And obviously there's the risk of, the legislature kind of hooking up the other branch of government, maybe to the exclusion of the private sector and that sort of thing. I think that's some of the concern about it. So how do we prevent that from being too much of a problem?
Well, I think that, first of all, I think to say that somehow I in my job, or a nurse in his job, or a kindergarten teacher in her job execute executive power in the executive branch is a bit of a stretch. And to the first part of your question, I think lived experience, it's one thing to have someone come to you and lobby you on something and give you information about it, but it's another thing to deeply understand that same issue or process because you've lived it and you've worked around it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And when we come back, we're going to get into some of the specific legislation Assemblywoman Newby is working on.
Win some Leprechaun loot during the $75,000 all-cash Go Green giveaways. More than 150 winners in all. Find your pot of gold with $15,000 in weekly cash giveaways guaranteed. And $25,000 in grand prize giveaways, including a $15,000 cash top prize. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
The Do It Right guys at Nevada Heating have one mission. Your furnace breaks down today? We fix it today. Why freeze for days while your furnace is down when Nevada Heating can get the job done today and you can get warm again? For nearly 50 years, locally owned Nevada Heating has been getting the job done right. Call today at 323-5585 and we'll fix it today. That's 323-5585 or online at nevadaheating.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. And if you're just joining us, with me today is Assemblywoman Sabra Newby, representing Assembly District 10. So I do want to get into some of the legislation that you've either sponsored or co-sponsored. There's one piece of legislation that you have sponsored, AB 225, and I think a lot of people want to focus on the big bills, the big controversial stuff that makes the news. There's lots and lots of smaller stuff that nevertheless important and impactful. And yours deals with some confidentiality of information for military members. So tell us about that.
Right. The origin of that bill really is an individual that I happen to know who, because of prior military efforts and actions, was placed on the ISIS kill list. And so when I first heard about this, I thought, no way, that's not a possibility. ISIS doesn't do that, right? And once I started looking into it, I realized that absolutely they do, and it's a real issue. So it sort of left me flabbergasted that somehow our military members who might be placed in further danger by way of their previous service would still be in danger, and I wanted to shield them from that.
Well, okay, and so specifically, what does AB 225 do?
So right now, there's a lot of personal information that you can get on a person, where they live, the location of their house, how big it is, where the entrances are. You can see from, an aerial, and that is publicly available on the assessor's websites in Nevada. And so right now there's existing law that allows certain individuals, police officers, judges, and others to shield that information so that, at least in Clark County, instead of saying your name, it says taxpayer. All the other information is available about the home and how much you paid for it, but your actual name tied to a property is not.
So one of the things I always wonder about with stuff like this is you identified a certain individual, there's a problem, you want to solve that problem, and that's kind of a local government thing, right? We want to just solve problems, fill potholes, and that's been your background. What's wrong though? Is it too specific? Or are we just putting lots of Band-Aids on something? Why not make this type of thing available to kind of everybody if they want to protect their privacy for all sorts of reasons?
Well, I'm glad you've asked that because, of course, you know, we come to the legislature with a bill and a concept, but in working with the chairman or chairwoman rather of that committee, I will be changing that bill and trying to address that in a way that I think makes sense. Instead of just adding additional folks to the list, really being able to ferret out those people who have a threat against them to be able to exempt them.
Okay, no, fair enough. So I want to talk about a couple other ones that caught my attention. So AB 323 is an effort to kind of recruit more teachers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, I'm a co-sponsor on that bill, and you know, I was thinking last night, you know, I don't think I've ever seen a situation in Nevada where we say, you know, we have too many teachers. So it's a perennial issue, and what this bill does is first of all require that there's a strategic plan for recruitment of teachers. It also adjusts the licensing such that if a teacher or a potential teacher is not able to pass some exams, they have to take a course approved by the Department of Education. It also allows teachers who are doing their practical experience to be paid. That is immensely important because you have people
You're talking about student teachers basically that
yes,
working for peanuts in the experience.
Yes, for nothing. And so it supports them to get them through the process more quickly. So those are some of the aspects of the bill. It's really a number of different tools that we're hoping will get more teachers into the pipeline.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, if you want more of something, you just got to pay more for it. You have to make it. You have to. Is that kind of part of it too, or just paying teachers more?
Well, I am also a co-sponsor on another bill to give teacher raises as well.
No, fair enough. When we come back, we're going to talk about maybe that and a few other things.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon is a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere, the Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson, we'll save you a drink.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. If you're just joining us, with me today is Assemblywoman Sabra Newby from Assembly District 10. So one of the kind of really controversial things that you see pop up all the time, social media and other places, is AB 286. And I know you're a co-sponsor of that, not the primary sponsor, but it allows for polling places in the jails. I'm a criminal defense attorney. Even I raised my eyebrow at it a little bit. Tell us about that and why we think that's important to do.
Well, I think this bill brings together two really bedrock values of our government. One is the right to vote, which I think is a sacred right for everyone who meets the qualifications to. And the other one is that we are innocent until we are proven guilty. And so those folks that are in the jail, and maybe for your viewers may not be aware, they have not been necessarily convicted of a crime. They are still presumed innocent. And so
now, a lot of viewers may not understand that because there's a difference between jail and prison.
Correct.
Prison is where you live, jail is where you stay. Prison is where you go after you've been convicted of a felony. Jail is where you stay when you're either pending or you've only been convicted of a misdemeanor. So, so does this extend polling places to prisons where people have been convicted of felonies?
No, not necessarily.
So go on. I want to make that distinction clear.
So those folks have not yet had their right to vote abridged, and our registrars do a lot of things to try and access different populations, including locating polling places in certain areas and rotating them. And so this is just one more area where those folks can't vote because they can't leave, but yet they still have the right to vote.
So are they voting? I've been doing criminal law for almost 15 years. I can count on one hand and half of one hand the number of clients I've had that were concerned about their right to vote in terms of our discussions. And maybe it was more than that. And they just didn't assert it to me. Is this truly a problem that needs to be solved? Is this something that there's appetite for? I'm curious.
Well, I think it's an issue that we need to make the ability to vote available to them. And I would also posit that when you're in jail, probably the last thing on your mind on day to day is, oh, there's a election coming up. But that doesn't in any way diminish their right to exercise that vote.
Okay, no, fair enough. So. And that speaks kind of broadly. One of the things that I'm a little curious about is that as I go through the list of bills with you and with other folks, it seems that there's not a lot of the criminal justice stuff that seemed to be a big part of the governor's campaign and part of this election cycle doesn't seem to be translating into a lot of legislation about criminal justice stuff. Is that changing? I know that the deadline to submit bills has been extended a little bit. Is that on the horizon?
Well, I would say it's maybe too early to tell because the deadline has been extended, so we don't necessarily have the whole universe of bills out there, so that could change. I wasn't in this position in the previous couple of sessions, but there was, as you know, a lot of changes that were made in 2019 and 2021, and so perhaps it's folks just really wanting to see how those play out and collect data and then return.
Okay, no, fair enough. So we got a couple minutes left. What are some of the legislative priorities that you're working on or focused on or worried about coming from some of your colleagues that maybe disagree with that you're focused on here?
I'm really focused on children's mental health and the lack of services that we have in the state. The Department of Justice did an investigation and report on Nevada in October of 2022, and what it said is that we institutionalize children much more than we should, and oftentimes it's not appropriate for their needs. And the reason that we do that is because there's a whole schematic or a whole range of mental health services from community counseling up to institutionalization. But we're missing so much of that area for mental health services that really the only alternative that we have sometimes is to institutionalize them, whether that's in hospitals or locked facilities.
Right, and really you're talking about the criminal justice system, the juvenile criminal justice system is where a lot of these folks with mental health issues wind up being funneled. Is that fair to say?
And not to mention, in Clark County, Child Haven, a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what the tally is today, but had 90 kids there. Parents are frustrated and they're not sure what to do for their children who have mental health issues and they can't access the services. And so when they're overwhelmed and they can't handle a child with mental health needs that are acute, what we're seeing is that they're dropping them off at Child Haven in the hopes that their child actually accesses.
Right, that they can just lift up the hood and kind of fix it, which obviously is not. So in 10 seconds, what's the solution?
Well, I am working on a bill to try and incentivize mental health providers to locate in Nevada or to expand services in Nevada.
Excellent. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take an Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Snorkel personnel lifts are engineered beyond the industry norm to an uncommon level of safety and durability, and with an eye towards sustainability. They're also designed to be simple to operate and maintain. Snorkel, always at the cutting edge of progress.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. You can join us 24/7 at NevadaNewsmakers.com. We'll see you next time.